we have a wicked problem to solve.
We are introducing our new instructor professional development program to engineers who teach as a secondary duty that they fit in around their already busy schedules. Some of them have been teaching for years, but there's never been a program in place to support the development of instructional techniques. What we are really trying to get them to do is adopt a new system.
Matusevich, Peretti, McNair, and Hickson describe Rogers' diffusion of innovations model. In the introductory session, we are trying to make instructors aware of the new program, get them to form a favorable opinion about it, and decide to adopt it. Trying out the program and adopting it will happen following the introductory session. Participants' perception of how the proposed changes would work in the context of their own classes will be the most significant factor in their decision to participate. And for this program to work, for their instructional techniques to actually improve, they really need to want to participate. So our challenge today is to design the introductory session for the new Directorate Instructor Professional Development Program. To effectively introduce the program to our instructors and get them on board, we need to really understand what their perspectives are, their worries or misgivings, how they will respond to information and experiences, and what it will take to make them see the program as relevant to their work. Basically, we need to empathize with them. Bond says the concept of empathy, or the state of being empathetic, is the ability to shift perspectives to assess, understand, and consider the feelings of an individual in a way that is free of judgment, uninvited advice, or disparaging remarks. We're accustomed to assessing the learner, but I am so passionate about this program being successful that I would like us to go beyond what we normally do and try out a new development process that Goldman et al. Identifies as promoting a human-centered, experimental, and collaborative mindset. Today, as a group, we are going to use the design thinking process. Design thinking is a mode of inquiry that puts doing and innovating at the center of problem solving. Design thinking has been applied successfully in schools, prestigious universities, and businesses. Solving wicked problems, a term coined by Riddle in 1972, is central to design thinking, which gradually evolved from its beginnings in the 1960s, where how people innovate was just starting to be explored, into what we think of today as design thinking, which is a method for creative inquiry. The Hasso-Planter Institute of Design, or the D School, at Stanford University, further refined this method into a process which we are going to be using today. In terms of innovation, the concepts, methods, and processes of design thinking have been evolved gradually, and thus design thinking falls closer to renewal on the innovation spectrum, as small improvements by various people have gradually evolved the concept to produce the process we will be using today. But why are we trying something new? Humans naturally develop patterns of thinking modeled on the repetitive activities of commonly accessed knowledge. These assist us in quickly applying the same actions and knowledge in similar or familiar situations, but they also have the potential to prevent us from quickly and easily accessing or developing new ways of seeing, understanding, and solving problems. The optional Lunch and Learn presentations that the section has presented have been viewed positively by those that attended, but they have not been well attended by instructors, nor have they caused changes in how instructors that do attend instruct a class. To be brutally honest, the way these presentations were introduced did not persuade instructors to participate in the development opportunities, nor did the introduction set instructors up to make decisions to adopt and use new skills. The way we introduce things this time needs to be different, and it needs to be really focused on bringing instructors on board. For us as a group, using design thinking is a new method, and it's quite different from anything we've done together. However, we are familiar with assessing the learner, so this builds on that knowledge. For our group, applying design thinking falls in the middle of being completely innovative and new, and renewing concepts we've already used. Design thinking is going to allow us to focus on empathy. Participants are extremely sensitive to the degree to which they can identify their perspectives, needs, and values in the content and processes of the program. The program is relevant when learning reflects the personal, communal, and cultural meanings of the learners in a manner that shows a respectful awareness of their perspective. Witkowski's article, Fostering Motivation in Professional Development Programs, specifically identifies essential attributes in adult professional development programs and what is necessary to initially engage participants. In this quote, he highlights how important it is for their perspectives, needs, and values to be included. He also emphasizes the importance of engaging participants in a way that requires complex thinking and enables them to voice opinions and questions. If the program is introduced in a manner that does not allow individuals to voice concerns, this will obstruct their connection to the subject matter and prevent them from becoming fully engaged. It is also important that the introduction gives instructors confidence that they will be successful at improving their instruction. Expectancy value theory can be used to describe instructor motivation to complete teaching professional development. In fact, several studies looking specifically at engineering faculty's motivation to participate in professional development and implement active learning practices have done just that. The engineer faculty will be similar to our instructors in their experiences that they had as students and the type of material that they are teaching. Expectancy value theory expresses motivation as a factor of expectancy and value. Expectancy is basically whether the instructor thinks that they can be successful and how much effort it will take them to be successful. Value is made up of attainment, which relates to how important they feel teaching professional development is, intrinsic value, which relates to how interesting or fun the instructor finds the professional development, utility, which is whether or not they feel they get a direct benefit from their learning, and cost, which describes the perceived time and effort the professional development will take. When we are completing the design challenge, it is important that we keep all of these factors in mind while empathizing. One of the ways we can help instructors to believe that they can instruct well is by modeling the kind of active instructional practices in the introductory session that we would like to see them apply. This fits in nicely with other literature such as Felder, Brent, and Prince, who look at adult learners' motivation on a more micro scale, examining the 5 attributes that affect their motivation during a learning event. These 5 attributes are the experience of presenters, the relevance of content, having choice involved in learning, completing group work, and praxis, which means completing an action and then reflecting on it. To motivate instructors during the introductory lesson, these attributes should be incorporated. Furthermore, our session will be a success if it develops the instructor's intrinsic motivation by establishing inclusion, developing a positive attitude, enhancing meaning, and engendering competence. Witkowski describes these 4 components as being essential to developing intrinsic motivation. Developing a learning environment where learners and instructors feel respected and connected establishes inclusion, he explains. Developing a positive attitude is all about ensuring the learning has personal relevance for the instructors and that they feel they have a choice in what they learn and apply. Witkowski states that creating challenging, thoughtful experiences that include learners' perspectives and values enhances meaning. And finally, engendering competence is described by Witkowski as creating an understanding that learners are effective in learning something they value. This ties in again to inspiring the instructor's confidence that they can improve their instructional technique and succeed in improving their instruction. So just to recap, I've introduced design thinking as the process we will use today to introduce an excellent introductory session for the Instructor Professional Development Program. I've talked about how design thinking evolved gradually in small steps as a renewal of ideas, but how for us as a group, applying design thinking is in between renewal and a completely new idea. But the point of taking on this new way of designing training is to reap the positive effects of empathetic design. I've also prepared us for Design Challenge by discussing some literature and research relating to introducing professional development programs and instructor motivation. I haven't explained the steps we will be going through. because we're just going to jump right in as part of the challenge, and I believe we're ready to create something great. To learn more about the literature and research I've used making this TED Talk, feel free to review these references.